Peace. What's up, guys? We're gonna go over the watch list this evening. Get right into it after a pretty strong day of trading in the markets today. Let's go over the setups from last night. Take a look at how they fared out there today and what we're looking for tomorrow in the markets. Uh, just to back up a little bit and give some context on the state of the market this week, it is sort of a unique trading week in the sense that the 4th of July is coming on a Friday this week and the markets will not be open for trading. 4th of July, it's never one of those consistent holidays, it's all over the place with where it falls. With it being on a Friday this week, it's just a 3 day weekend, just something to pay attention to. You gotta think that, tomorrow being Thursday, day before a holiday, day before a long weekend, definitely the type of deal that you have to just kind of ease into it. No, there's no reason to put the pedal to the metal tomorrow and just go, guns blazing, trying to hit these setups. Proceed with caution on a day like tomorrow. Might start to see some people step away, some, financial institutions step away, some algorithms get turned off on a day like tomorrow. But let's start with SPY as always. The broad market today, new all-time highs. We pushed to 620, and we've just continued this breakout from, it's been about 2 weeks now. Been about a week and a half since we broke out of this little trend. And boy, we've been strong. 590 to 620. 30-point move in SPY. I didn't see it coming, but there we are, 620 all-time highs, and we're sitting 20 points above the previous high. Now I like to look at the moving averages here. They keep me sort of in check as to where this thing is compared to the long term, compared to what it usually does. I look at the 200 moving average and how far extended we are. We're 578 up to 620. So we're 42 points extended off the 200 MA. We've done that before plenty of times. Let's look at here on the chart. How far extended? 530 to 595. We were 65 points extended at that time. Shoo. We were twice as extended from the 200 MA as we are today. Let's look at this one right here. Actually, this looks even more extended back here. You see what I'm doing here? I'm looking at historical data on SPY to see where we're at now compared to where we've been. All right, so back here, the 200 MA was at 485, and the stock was at 555. So we're looking at a 70 point, 70, 60, 50, 60, 70. We've seen it before, guys. This is the farthest extended we've been since that early crash this year, to be 40 points above, but we've seen it in the past. It's not out of character for SPY to go 60, 50, 70 points above the 200 MA. That's something to keep watch on. I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just saying historically, it wouldn't be 100% surprised if this continues. If this continues to another 20 points to 640. But as traders, that's not the setup we're looking for. We're looking for this to consolidate, to kind of work its way back down here and stair step its way back down so we can look at taking a trade, to the upside on it. QQQ, not all-time highs today. We were able to recover yesterday's sell-off, but not quite. We're still hovering a little below the high of the swing. So we'll keep an eye on the technology sector. We'll keep an eye on the Qs to see if they can recover and push to all-time highs as well. Okay, getting into the individual names here. SMCI. Just real quick, guys. SMCI, nice little day here. Small range, small volume. Still kind of in that little consolidation pattern, which is good. I like to see that. Let's keep seeing if this thing can set up and come down here and touch this 45, and that'd give me a really good spot to get long on SMCI. I like the $50, 55, and then 65. Those are my lines in the sand. Kind of my profit taking, if you will, on the way up. Risk being right around that, risk on something like SMCI would be right around here, low of the swing, that 41, 42. I'm looking to get a good entry on 45, guys. We'll see if it comes back into this range. If it falls back into 45 and gets constructive and gives me a chance to get in. But right now I don't have a position SMCI, just firmly on watch because of the setup. Moving on, RGTI, nice move today. Strong volume to support it. This one it got tight. The range got tight. And you can really see it here when we zoom into the 3-month chart. And you can see that range just really, it started to tighten up, consolidate. And we highlighted this inside candle from yesterday. Just a beautiful breakout out of that inside candle, supported with volume. We broke over 12, and we had upside to 13. I know a popular question I get is, where do you sell? How do you know when to sell? I would say, I'm not taking trades that aren't at least a 3-to-1 risk to return. Right? So it's way more important to find out your risk than it is to find out where you want to sell. Right? Because this is how you ensure that over the long run you're actually profitable. If we're taking high probability trades and we're risking 3-to-1, okay, our winners will outweigh our losers doing it that way. So if the stock here at RGTI was at 11.20 and I'm risking $1, 10.20, I need to be looking for $3 upside. I need to be looking for 14.20 on the swing. Okay? Which means today I was able to hold my full position for a long part of the day today and capture this entire move. At the end of the day, I took some skin out of the game. I left some runners, but I locked in that move, locked in that profit, right? And that's a solid trade. That's, 10, 11%. In the stock, the options were up over 100%. That's the type of move we're looking to get. So beautiful from RGTI. I still think it's got upside. Like I said, tomorrow's not a foot on the gas type of day for me. I'd love to walk away from the screens and just not really worry about it. But RGTI still has upside. It's still got upside of 14. So we'll keep an eye on that. SLDP. Actually, let's talk about this just a little bit more, guys. Because this is the type of trade that we capitalize on. I talked about it in the watch list the other day. We got a strong move in RGTI back here. It doesn't look huge on the chart, but this is a 30% candle right here. That big white candle with the high volume, that's a 30% day in something like RGTI. Now, me in the past, an amateur, a novice, somebody just kind of chasing the trend, I might have put my foot on the gas, after this 30% day, hoping for this to see all-time highs. But now I know what I like to trade. I know the setups to look for. And after that 30% day, I want to see, like I always talk about with you guys, I want to see some sideways action. And I draw out these blue lines. I want to see here. And then I want to see here. And then I want to see a little bit more. And then maybe we start to stair step our way back up. And then we're in prime position to break out. That is the perfect example of what I'm talking about here. Patience, wait for more chart data, and then, bet on it when it comes to time to bet on it. That's a beautiful setup in RGTI, something to take note of. SLDP is strong day today as well. Let's look at this. Let's look at the chart. We pushed past 230 finally. We've been talking about that as a line in the sand. Next line in the sand on this, 260, 270. The highs, from this day right here. Other than that, there's not much stopping this from, the $3, $3.20. I believe was what we kind of had our sights set on here. Yeah, we have to zoom way out on the chart to see past that. Yeah, we have to zoom out 3 years just to see $3 is the next target. Beautiful, beautiful cup forming right here. Volume still impressive. The volume today wasn't what I expected on that 230 break. I expected something a little more significant. I think that could be hinting at this thing's due for a little bit of pullback, due for some consolidation, which would just be, it would just be A+ to see this. It's a beautiful setup right now. With some digestion, guys, you're not going to see too many better looking charts than something like an SLDP right here. So let's respect our risk, whatever that means for you. Let's plan on this giving us another entry, more days to add into our position. But I'm not surprised if it goes without me. That's why I have skin in the game. If it does go without me, I don't want to be left standing, at the starting line. I want to have a little bit of a position here, but I want my position to be flexible, knowing that if this comes back down to earth, I can add more. Okay? SLDP. Good look. AISP. Firmly on watch. We talked about this trend line break. And we talked about more sideways action above this blue trend line to give buyers a chance to step in and overwhelm this thing. Today's candle was the last 4 days are really, really pretty neat. Pretty neat candles. Let's zoom in a little bit more here so you guys can see. Let's go 3 months. Those two huge red sticks. But they were held up. And we've kind of consolidated nice and sideways here. Today we put in an inside day. And we put in an inside day on just a little bit more than half the volume. And we've already talked about the significance of those. If you caught last night's video, that was the same thing we got with RGCI. I like the look of AISP here, guys. I do. Again, we're going to need breakout volume. We're going to need 3 mil volume plus to push through here to break 6 and push, new swing highs. Let's see if it keeps consolidating, but AISP, a little bit of stair step here. We start putting in some higher lows off this $5.40 range, and AISP is probably worthy of position here, with the risk in mind that if it loses this trend line right here on the downside, then I don't have any interest in it anymore. So AISP, my risk would be, right around $5.20, $5. Looking for a few dollars on the upside. That's what we're looking for. AISP, keep it on watch. Let's see what it does tomorrow for sure. And then SOUN, SoundHound AI, another good candle today, supported with good volume. Shorts are in a little bit of trouble here, and we've really started to form some. We've started to really shape up here. This is what I'm talking about. That's beautiful, beautiful. That's starting to, when we look at these head and shoulders types of patterns here, and when I say head and shoulders, I mean I very clearly see. Oh, come on. Bear with me here, guys. It's late. It's been a long day. But we're out here grinding, Okay. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And on head and shoulders, you want to see these things dip with less volume. You want to see the volume start to lose traction as it makes that lower low. And what's that tell you? It tells you that the selling pressure has started to die up. And it's a trend reversal. Buying will start to overwhelm selling. Buyers start to step in here on these higher highs. And then we get this weak little pullback here. It's just mainly people positioning themselves. And then we explode out of it. We have to explode out of it on overwhelming buying volume for a head and shoulders to truly confirm itself as a reversal. And these two candles are a beautiful start to that. Just a beautiful start to it. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe we pull back and retest 1050 and go sideways on that for a second. But SOUN is looking like this head and shoulders reversal is starting to pan out. It looks like we're in that early stage of it. So I zoom in here on the chart. And I have my line in the sand where those old wicks are. Those old sell wicks right there. Looks like right around 1050, I believe. Would be a good spot to look at an entry if you're late, or look at, cementing your position, adding a little bit more. If we get a weak pullback here and we start to put in higher lows around that level, could be a spot where people that missed out are looking to get back in this thing. So SOUN, it looks really explosive here. It looks solid, and I'm looking to position myself in it as well. So that's it, guys. Always respect the risk. Understand that there's endless trading days out there, and it's all about just staying in the game, keeping your positions, to a point where you can stay in the game and you can fight another day. But that's about it. Everybody have a great day tomorrow and a good weekend, and we'll be ready to attack these things on Sunday night and look at next week. So that's it, guys. Everybody, take care, stay profitable out there. Peace.